Hello and welcome to the Minds Unlimited Media Channel's weekly Minds Unlimited podcast recap.
So this week on the Minds Unlimited podcast, we discussed price versus
Cost.
And like we always do in the Minds Unlimited fashion, we started off with the queen of definitions herself, Jess Z. Hit us up with the definition of price and cost.
Okay, so I'll start off with price. So price is an unwelcome experience, event, or action involved as a condition of achieving a desired end.
Mm-hmm. And then the definition of la cost.
Okay, so cost is something that is given, needed, or lost in order to get a particular thing.
All right, now with that said, you want to jump right in and you give one and then I go ahead and discuss together?
Sure. I'll discuss price since we started there. So one thing about the definition of price that stuck out to me was unwelcome, right? So I think that price can be an unwelcoming thing because price is something that others put onto something based upon their view of what you need or what you want. If we're talking like literal price as in like the value of something at a store, right? And so people will price things at a certain point based upon what they think you need, but meanwhile, you know what you need, right? And so sometimes it's an unwelcome experience to have to pay more for something that is more of a necessity than something else.
Indeed.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, right now. And then we discuss cost as being that almost like the outcome of the transaction, the thing that it actually took from you, or the thing that it needed to transact in order to accomplish the goal at hand. When we think of cost, we commonly don't ever go to people and go, "Hey, is there a sale on the cost?" No, because the cost is like the underlying value that actually is there. So I think in conjunction with price, if we think of cost, price is someone else's value, like you said, that external towards you, but cost is what you're actually able to show or produce. We kind of gave a summary of the podcast, if you will, but kind of give you, after we had a week to kind of sit on it, to let it marinate and talk about it. What did you get out of the podcast?
To me, everything has a cost. Not everything might not have a price, but everything definitely has a cost. Like you can't put a price on love, right?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
But at the same time, if that love, here we go, is an unwelcome experience, event, or action, now you are paying the price for it.
Yeah.
And so, but everything has a cost, right? So I really had to take a look at my cost expenditures and feel, so I can see if the cost was worth it to me. Yeah. Because, you know, every choice that I make can impact other choices, but it can also impact the final cost of that action.
Most definitely. One thing I learned from the podcast that I let marinate was that this resonated with setting your value, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times, so when you are at the whim of others, they can set your price. And sometimes if you know, you go to a store, just because it says it's at a certain price does not mean that it costs that much to make.
Oh wait, because what? You can take it from me. You can bargain that price, honey. You can get the clearance. You can use the coupon. Okay? But that doesn't change the
value of the item.
It doesn't change that it costs 2 cents to make that shirt, whether you're paying $20 for it, $10 for it, or $8 with a coupon. Okay?
But also the vice versa can be true. You can go to, let's say if you're thrifting, you can find something of high value for a lower price just because the relevance of it isn't trendy at the moment. So trends can impact prices. People's beliefs can impact prices. Mm-hmm. Translate that. People's beliefs, people's trends sometimes have impact on your value or your self-perception of self. So if you ever heard the term set your price and then charge taxes, I think this is what they're speaking toward. For anybody that ever starts working for themselves, your first couple of transactions and whatnot, that's a little scary because you don't know what to, like, oh my God, like I got to set a price. What do other people charge? So you're looking at all these different prices.
What
but
is it
then,
worth?
yeah. And then after you find out that worth, you then get a sense of value and your price is determined by you versus the price ticket that someone else put on you.
Yeah. And I like that because it's like, and I said it on the podcast and I'll say it again.
Say it again.
Price is on them. Cost is on you.
Wait.
And I learned to stick by that because there's so many different things. We've talked about the ships. We've talked about, your work relationships, personal relationships, friendships, kinships. And all of those ships, if we look at the definition of cost, because cost isn't always negative, something that is given, right? So you can be give and take. You can give information. You can give love. You can give, whatever of yourself. Needed. So sometimes you need things in return, and that is the cost to the other person is what you might need, or lost. Sometimes you lose a ship in order to get a particular thing. If that particular thing is happiness, you might, one of the costs might be you have to give up a bad habit. One of the things you might need is a little more faith or a little more belief in yourself. And then one of the things you might lose are people that don't understand your process along the way. And those are all costs. But at the end of the day, they add up to the total of your purpose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's better off it being something that you set than someone else. But at the same token, it's an ever-changing thing. What it costs today, it may not cost the same tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
One of the biggest, what's up? I feel it.
Say it again.
So what it costs today, it may not cost the same thing tomorrow.
Okay. So by that, can you expand on that? Because I have an expansion ready.
Okay. Well, I want to hear your expansion. What's up?
So are you saying that it might cost you a lot of energy today to put into a new habit?
Yeah.
But tomorrow or next week after you've practiced, it might not cost as much energy.
Oh.
You might be a little more efficient.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Most definitely.
Is that what you're saying?
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
You don't need as much energy.
If y'all want to translate, put it like this. Whatever you invest today should have a return of investment, right? That's for the people that can translate the money. Whatever you start practicing the basics on, you have a foundation for the future, so it should not cost you as much to go all the way back from the start to the end, because you don't have to go all the way back. You've built something sustainable, right? So you build on.
Build on cost. You can't necessarily, you don't want to build on price, I don't think.
The stores do. They add on tax. That's that thing. And it's a joy when others give you value of, oh, I think that your service is worth, put in a number. That's a beautiful feeling, because then your price, you're like, oh, wait a minute, you're telling me that I can go up? They're like, yes, because you're that value. If I didn't have you, it would cost me more.
Mental energy.
Most
cost
definitely.
Me more emotional turmoil.
Indeed.
And so that's when you raise your
price. Now, here's situations of where when you don't evaluate your own, and all you're doing is paying, thinking that you're making an investment, but you're realizing that the return is not there. Sometimes that could be in what you're doing for other people. You think that you're being a good friend. You think that if I loan people this, I'm paying the cost, I'm paying my dues. I'm putting in time for respect. I'm trying to deserve these things. But sometimes your work isn't translated into value.
Okay, because
it only pays the interest of the time being that you're spending. So, unfortunately, in my profession, I help a lot of couples, and that happens in relationships, whether it be friend relationships, whether it be family relationships. And sadly to say, intimate relationships where people think that they're doing a lot of work for the other person, but at the end of the day, the other person doesn't value that exchange. That love language isn't translated the same.
Mm-hmm. They don't feel like it costs anything. If somebody doesn't feel like something is worth the cost or costs anything, then they're not going to respect the price. You know what I'm saying? If you went to the store right now and bread was $80 a pack, you would be like, excuse me? One, because we have a price in our head. That's the unwelcome experience, right?
Yeah.
But then two, because we know we add up the cost. Like, okay, it cost me the energy to get up. It cost me the gas to get here. It might have cost something to make it, but still.
$80.
$80. You know what I mean?
They have you shopping around for something else. Real talk. Real talk.
If you don't respect the price, you gonna shop somewhere else.
Indeed. Indeed. So these things verse each other, right? But they also can complement each other. Price isn't bad if you use it the right way. When the price starts fluctuating based on how other people feel and you have nothing to do with it, my friend, it's going to be, in the long run,
yeah,
it's going to cost you.
It might cost you too much. Yeah.
Indeed.
So, one thing I started doing is just asking myself, and I've been doing this for a while, but really like speaking it out loud helps me. Yes, I talk to myself.
All right, sometimes you got to do that, right?
Okay. And I just ask, like, at what cost? If I'm debating something, it's really the things that I don't debate that I need to ask this for. But the things that I'm debating, I say, okay, you know, the price is this, or I plan on doing this, but at what cost? And sometimes the cost isn't worth it, but we're too busy trying to scrounge up to get to the price, or we're too busy trying to find a way to lower the price or compare prices that we don't think about everything that goes along with it, and that is the cost.
And I think that on the opposite end, there are people that don't move because they're trying to count up the numbers too much, right? They're trying to see, oh my God, do I have enough to move forward? I don't even want to move until I can afford it. Sometimes you can't afford to wait. Sometimes the value means that you need to start somewhere and save up. This is how I do some self-check for me. Just because we went for you. When I go to purchase something or when I want to do something, they say do what you love. I ask myself, well, you know, they say do what you love, and I ask myself, if I have to turn around and ask someone, should I get it? Should I do it? I want to be a scientist. Should I do it? Wait a minute. Do they? Like, yeah, they got influence to you, but if you got to ask another person, you need to reevaluate the value of that thing. Because when a new iPhone comes out and you go to the store and you want it, it's like, it's done. Some people...
It doesn't matter what the price is.
Here, I want it. Oh, I can get it at a deal. I can save money. Cool. It was going to get bought either way, right? Mm-hmm. But when you get there, I don't know. Can I phone a friend?
Right.
Sis,
will this cost me my lights next week?
I don't think that you probably... I really don't think that value matches the cost that you're really about to do. So when you know your worth and or value, I think that things will flush out a little bit different for you. You won't be in a hurry to just throw out your energy, your focus, your monetary things, or money or whatnot, but you will look at the exchange.
Yeah. That's so true. So true. So make sure, you try to use price and cost not interchangeably as two separate things. So yeah, put in the comments below, like, do you think about price first, or do you think about what it's gonna cost you first? Mm-hmm. So yeah, let us know.
And guys, be sure that you go to the Minds Unlimited website to check out all the other things we got going on. Other websites, other blog posts, the Minds Unlimited podcast itself. All the links and information will be found in the bio below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. All right. As always, the smallest change in perspective
can change your life.
Peace.